Welcome to Turtle Talk. This is Morgan's story and the family's journey. I'm Craig, and
I'm Michelle. Welcome.
where we left off, we're at the end of 2019. Tom is still down at Fort Hood, and here comes 2020.
Here comes 2020. Oh my goodness, yeah. Um, so we're doctoring on the fixators, you know. About this time that stupid virus that freaked the world out shows up, and so we have a cage on her foot, right? And the doctor has to get permission from administration for Morgan to be seen because even Mayo Clinic, unless it was absolute necessary, they didn't want to see patients that could wait. Like
Right.
only the ones that couldn't wait were patients. So here we are going week by week. Now, mind you, we had just been in Mexico, right? And everybody got sick when we came home from Mexico, and you know, so we didn't think much of it, it's just the flu, right? So fast forward, now we're going to Mayo and Morgan's getting these fixators checked, and the doctor has to get permission and all this stuff. Like it just kind of snowballed there. But so every time we went in, her and I had to get tested. And people couldn't believe that here we are at the very beginning of COVID, and Morgan's already got the antibodies, as do I. And they're like, how can she have them? And I'm like, well, we all got really sick after Mexico. So, it's not like it just showed up one day in the world.
Right.
It had been around and they were just not telling anybody. So we had the antibodies. So I didn't worry about it. Why do anything? And because we refused the vaccine, we had to be tested every time, which I was fine with. But because if we have the antibodies, and I'm not going to go off on a whole big tangent about, viruses versus whatever.
We know a lot more now than we did then.
Right, exactly. But even at the time, we were the rebels bucking the system once again. But my whole kind of point of this is we tried really hard not to put stuff into Morgan that we didn't know what it was going to do.
Right.
Right? Like any of her medications, any of this stuff, like I want to know what you're putting into her. Not that I'm a super health nut or I'm anti-vax or anti-whatever. It's just I want to make sure that whatever we do doesn't have a factor in that's going to affect the healing of her brain.
Right.
Right? So, we were pretty fortunate that she was actually one of the few that got to go to Mayo during all this craziness. But let me tell you, it was hard finding a hotel that was still open. And let me tell you, I have never seen $45 a night hotel rates in DoubleTrees.
Yeah.
The big fancy hotels. But they had nobody staying. So, our stays were actually pretty nice. We had hotel half to ourselves. Mayo was like a ghost town. Just, skeletal people running around and stuff. And, we're still making our weekly trips to Mayo during all of this because of her foot. And that was really a crazy time. It was also scary because we didn't want Morgan to get sick.
Right.
Like any bronchial stuff at this time, or any time for someone who's not running around physically active can be a death sentence. So my biggest fear has always been, oh my gosh, what happens if she gets, a big bronchial chest cold, or if she goes into pneumonia, and so it was pretty scary for us trying to keep her safe from all that. So we limited anybody who could come to the house. We limited our contacts with people.
So you're limiting people coming to see Morgan, restricting access, still making the trips to Mayo
Right.
to check on her leg.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy going through all of this. And my biggest fear was not that I get sick or Dad would get sick. It's that she would get sick. So we were super cautious and we just took a lot of more um, like natural God-given protocols to, you know, we upped her vitamin C, we upped her zinc, things like lavender and eucalyptus and stuff in diffusers and everything we could to just kind of holistically keep her from getting sick, and disinfecting with tea tree oil and stuff. I tell you what, we did pretty good because we all did get COVID again. I think it was, I don't know, sometime in 2020, because we had been sick and then we got it. And I want to say it was like maybe May or something. And we had got COVID. The whole house did. And Tom and Carly and Ethan they were sick for a couple days and that was it. Hannah and Morgan and I got really, really, really sick. And, so we went and got the whatever that immunotherapy was or
The
whatever.
infusion therapy.
The infusion therapy. We did do that.
Me too.
And it helped a little bit. Um, but I think I was so run down. I've been on a 2-year heightened alert that what do you do? And so I think my stress just made me so run down. And of course, Morgan's compromised because she's in a wheelchair. So she's not, getting as good. And I tell you what, I got so sick. I said to Tom, I said, you need to take me to the ER. I said, I think I'm dying. Like it was bad. It was so bad. And we got there and he couldn't come in with me. So I had to go in by myself. And they get me back to the room. And the first damn question, are you vaccinated? And I said, no, I'm not. And they're like, well, then there's nothing much we can do for you. This is your COVID. You're just going to have to live with it. And I'm like, what kind of response is this? Like, how rude can you be? You're all drinking the same Kool-Aid, so you're going to be mean because I didn't get vaccinated? Because I made a personal choice for me and for my family?
Crazy time.
Like, I know this is a touchy subject with people, and they don't all agree, and you don't have to agree with me or my choices, but it was still my choice. But to condemn me for making my choice, and they left me sit in this room for like 2.5 hours. And nobody came. So I'm like, and I was sleeping on and off throughout all of it, but the cough was awful. And I just thought, what the heck? And so I'm just like, you know what? And I got up and I'm trying to give all this attitude as I'm trying to huff out of the hospital. And dude, I was so weak. I was hanging onto the walls just trying to get out. And I got outside and they're like, you can't leave. As I'm leaving, they're like, you can't leave. And I'm like, you're not going to do anything for me anyhow. So peace out, And I get in the car and I said, well, take me home. I'm going to die. I mean, I really felt like I was losing the battle and stuff. And then, I just kept suffering through it and stuff. And, I was taking super high doses of zinc and C and everything else I had read about. Like I was doing it all. And finally I got over the hump. We got Morgan over the hump. Hannah got over the hump. But I tell you what, that was a ridiculous response. I don't care if you're in healthcare and that's a response, but that's kind of a typical response that we've been getting, not just with this stupid virus shit, but with some of this other stuff in her healthcare. Like when I say I want to get her off these meds that are not necessary, and I get attitude for it. It's like, when did we stop caring for others? And when did it all become about money?
Yeah. Pushing the meds. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And so kind of fast forward a little bit, when we were going through the trial, which we'll cover in depth later, but when we were going through the trial, there was a doctor that flew in out of Colorado who testified on Morgan's health and where she's at and stuff. And he said he was so amazed at how far she had come without any significant health issues, and that we actually got her through the virus as well as we did, because he said compromised people like her typically, they don't have a high survival rate in the first 5 years. So when they were asking him questions, he's like, listen, she made no seizures, no pneumonias, no hospitalizations, no this, no that, no nothing. He's like, she's going to live as long as she wants to because she made it past the first 5 years.
Yeah. The seizure thing is astounding.
Yes.
Just what I've been learning about TBIs. So,
so because of that, even that, who are these doctors and these nurses to judge me, the parent, who is 150% invested in this? And who are you to judge and challenge what we think is best? We're not doing anything that would jeopardize her life. But we're questioning, and I encourage people to question your doctors, question your medical care. Just because they're a doctor and have a degree doesn't make them any smarter than you. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. We love hearing from you guys, so keep the comments and the questions coming for us.
Yes. Love the questions. Please subscribe. Go to www.givemorgan.org or visit me at my real estate website, realtorcraigbertrand.com. And we always want your questions, comments, like, and share wherever you listen or watch.
Thank you.
Thank you.